The other reason I'm doing this video is actually to see what it looks like if I am smoking or having a cup of coffee. Maybe even a glass of wine. The first thing that I really wanted to talk about was Brexit, I think. I see so much stuff on media and mainstream media and social media and the alternative media. And I really just can't believe what some people believe. It just blows my mind. Of course, I wasn't here for the 2016 referendum, so does that mean I don't have an opinion on it? No. So, well, first of all, one of the things that I don't get is how come all the stats in Scotland show they wanted to remain in the EU? I don't get that. I don't get it. Especially when the same party wants to leave the UK. So why would you want your independence from the UK and sign up for the EU, which is way, way worse, trust me. So the next thing that bothers me about it is, why is it that when a referendum is taken, when the whole country can vote on an issue, and I think maybe they could have worded the questions a little better, that may have helped things, but the result came in, it was pretty clear whether there was messing around with the polls or not, and I kind of suspect that in Scotland. But anyway, why is it that MPs and parties and journalists and columnists and anybody else that cares to talk about it get to argue? Like, how is that allowed? I mean, the referendum was made, a decision was made, the UK will leave the EU. That's what people wanted. They didn't want to be stuck to it with this thing and that thing and the other thing. They wanted to leave. So why are people campaigning to remain? Why are MPs voting to remain? And I honestly still, to this day, have not heard a good argument about why we should stay in the EU. I've heard fear tactics, I've heard freedom of movement, which I think is something that will be quickly and easily solved. I think that we can fairly easily fix the backstop problem too, like the border between Ireland and Northern Ireland will stay open, and if the EU doesn't like it, tough shit. I mean, why do they get to make all the rules? That's why we want to be a sovereign nation again, so that we can get rid of all this absurdity. And like some of the laws and regulations that are coming in, and I notice she's bringing them in pretty quickly. You know, while we're all mouthing off about Brexit and the Remoaners and how they're supposed to be leading the polls right now and more people want out, and maybe it's because the Brexiteers feel that they really shouldn't have to promote their position. The decision was made, it was taken, the end. Now obviously it's not the end, because then they went on and they made the withdrawal agreement, which was pretty sad actually, the 2018 Act. And it says quite clearly in there that exit day will be the 29th of March at 11 p.m. unless some agreement has occurred, blah, 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 blah. And no agreement had occurred. They hadn't gone through the due process to change that and have it properly procedurally amended. So as far as I'm concerned, the UK is technically out of the EU, and I don't see how it can't be. However, we seem to be carrying on as if we are, and the part that I disliked about that most is having to take part in the EU election. That makes no sense to me when we're exiting. We should have if we need to continue having a negotiating team, then yeah, I guess so. We'll have just that team, but for the rest of them, what's the point? What really is the point? The other issue with the EU, which I think is huge, is this supposedly signed, sealed, and delivered our entire military over to the EU, which means that it is run from a single point of command that is not the UK. I don't know about you guys, but I am sure not happy to have our military under someone else's command. I want our country to be able to say, no, we're not going to go and invade Syria or Ukraine or Venezuela or blah, blah, blah. These are not our issues. We have our own issues. So I think I might want to be more like Poland and Hungary, where they just say, no. No to open borders. No to not having any kind of religion or religiosity or prayers in their school. I think the majority are Christians, and I think that's the biggest reason why they close their borders, because they don't want their Christian and cultural heritage, which they've worked hard for, to be decimated by incoming completely different culture and religion and standard of life. So I want to be able to say no to open borders too. I think that's all I have to say on the EU and Brexit. It was really just a dry run. So and off the top of my head, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, so Ah. This whole thing about leaving without a deal or no deal, remember the phrase, no deal is better than a bad deal. It's not really a no deal, because we'll be working under the WTO terms, and we already have good relations with many other countries. I think it would be a good thing for Britain to rely more on its own produce specifically, so that we can maybe manage how well or what's not going into our soil. And yeah, to see problems going on there. The pound has stayed fairly strong, so no issues there. Although scaremongering will tell you that, you know, all the companies and the investors are all leaving. Not entirely true. There may be some going out, but there's some coming in too, so that's a different thing. But isn't it interesting that Gavin Williamson, the war secretary, who, you know, talked a great game about what was going on, about this amazing military union that's going on, and then he got fired. Wonder when we'll ever hear that story. Wonder if he realized what a bad position we're in. And of course, the part I didn't mention about giving our army away and to another country or a foreign entity where a single point of command exists is treason. There's no point in beating about the bush about it. That is precisely what it is. That means, unfortunately, that Theresa May committed treason. The Queen was forced to commit treason. The whole cabinet that was involved during these years, and it's not just Gavin Williamson and Theresa May. I mean, this is something that's been going on and since they've been working towards, I think, since 1978 or something. It's not exactly a new thing, but you know, you do a little by little by a little, and people tend not to notice, or it's not really enough for them to get grievous about and write letters and object, and it seems like that's what we have to do now. Write letters, object, ask our MPs, excuse me, but why haven't we left yet? We want out now. Not tomorrow, not the next day, but now. And we'll go with the Withdrawal Agreement Act 2018, and we're good to go. So I think I should stop now. It being now 4:45, 4:35, something like that. You can probably see how tired I am, so I will say good night. Or good morning to those that have to get up terribly early. Good night.